So we'll kind of see how they do that. And I think what that tells us and kind of how they handle that tells us a little more. I've been talking about this a little bit lately before we move on here. And James has another question, but the Scott Servais as a manager, I don't know that. And again, this is another reason why I don't like it. And later, I'm not going to tell you who I think the managers of the year are going to be. I'll talk about Rookie of the Year, MVP, Cy Young, because manager of the year, think about who's voting on that. It's beat reporters and columnists, and you know what I mean? Like, how in the world are they supposed? It's not even their fault. It's not their fault at all. They do the best they can, and they do pretty darn good job of it, considering. There's a caveat here. And the point I'm trying to make here is with the batting order, this isn't necessarily about Scott Servais or necessarily about Jared Sandberg or necessarily about Manny Acta or Tim Lake. This is the front office has a say in this as well. This is largely coming from a collaboration between the field staff led by Scott Servais and the front office led by Jerry DiPoto. And then those analysts putting numbers into a computer and things like that. And coming up with, now granted, you have to take the players into consideration. They're human beings. They're going to react differently to different situations and different roles. So that matters. So it's a true collaboration. It's not like, well, here's what the computer says. Let's go do this. It's, yeah, okay, the computer says this, so let's consider that, but how's that going to affect Mitch Haniger or J.P. Crawford or Ty France? Or what does that do here? What does that do there? What does that do against a lefty versus a righty? What does that do once we get to their bullpen? What does that do, when we don't have Haniger available? What do we do? So it's very much a collaboration, a mix of more traditional thinking and, what the iPad says, ultimately. So we'll see. And again, the whole Scott Servais thing as a manager, we're going to learn a lot more about Scott Servais as a manager this year. But I don't know that we're going to learn enough to go, he's a good manager or he's a bad manager. There was a time where I kind of thought this was going to be the year we really learned as much as we were going to need to learn about Scott Servais. I don't know that I'm ever going to feel, I'll just speak for myself. I don't know that I'm ever going to feel like I have enough information to suggest Scott Servais is probably not the guy to take this team to the World Series because of that collaboration. Now, maybe somebody else will have a feel for that and be willing to. I don't know that I'm ever going to get there now. Just because of how much of those decisions that managers tend to make that are now being at least partially made or made alongside data-driven analysis.